Ian from Meltdown, and today I am joined by
Seb from the TZIMANI.
going to be chatting to you today. Can you tell us a little bit about your band and who are your biggest influences?
So we're from San Diego. Our sound is a mixture of a lot of things. We'll talk about that in a bit, but I would say our influences are pretty wide ranging. I think we grew up listening to obviously the iconic Iron Maiden. I think that was the very first metal band in the purest form that we ever listened to. But there were also groups that we got. I mean, we grew up listening to Mexican music and 70s disco funk. That was what our parents were playing in the house. We did not grow up on a rock and roll bloodline. So we discovered, heavier forms of music through what was mainstream. So, we're in our early 30s. So at the time, bands like System of a Down, Linkin Park were things that we maybe we gravitated toward, but maybe it wasn't something that we ultimately enjoyed. And when we got exposed to Iron Maiden, like this was the best expression of metal or heavy music that we wanted to gravitate toward. And as we got older, we got, Dio was a big one, massive influence. And then more modern bands like there's a progressive rock band, Coheed and Cambria, I think found its way into our music a little bit. Dragon Force was a band that we all loved, even though it's kind of a cringy thing to say for most bands to this day, but I don't give a fuck. But like as we matured as an artist, I think bands like Whitesnake, Def Leppard, the more the classic bands that have more melodic elements or melodic foundation to their music. But
Yeah,
there's a lot of clean riffing in our music that could be very page tribute to like Van Halen or Megadeth even for the more intricate stuff. So it's a pretty wide range of influence. And I hate to be the old school sounding metal guy that says Maiden, Megadeth, Def Leppard, Whitesnake are the influences. But we're not going to be shy to say that we also love Coheed and Cambria and love listening to AOR, like Night Ranger, and more modern bands that play that kind of stuff too. So we'll take it.
brilliant. So I Feel Fine is your debut album following on from your EP that you released a few years ago now, yeah? It gets released on the 15th of
Yes, sir.
November. How excited or
Yes, sir.
nervous are you? Are you getting a bit nervous?
Um, I think I am going to be more relieved. I think my brother is nervous, but I won't speak much for him in this conversation. He's his own man, and he'll make comments when he can. But
Yeah.
no, I think when it comes to my involvement with the production of this record, it's pretty minimal outside of doing the press stuff and recording the actual drums. But it will be over 2 years from the time that we started production to actual release date. So for me, I'm very much looking forward to the release, getting it out there. It kind of marks a very important transition for us as musicians, personally and professionally. Um, at the time of our release for the EP, we were in a much different place professionally and musically. We had just released the EP. We were touring all over North America into Canada, playing at one point 70 to 85 shows a year. And then, with the pandemic, I became a father. My brother became married. The demands of family life, professional life, kind of overtook us, and it kind of put the band to the side a little bit, and
Yeah.
the production of the actual album took longer than anticipated, but it also marks a very pivotal journey for our personal lives. And when I say relief, I really mean it, because we just I'm not going to give you a sob story or anything, but I think when it comes to how we came at the production side of things and getting this thing released, it took a lot out of us.
Yeah.
And so I'm just going to take it with relief. Anything good that comes with it, I'll take it. Anything bad that comes with it, then that means that we're doing something right because we're pissing off some people.
Brilliant. Yeah, I mean, of course, COVID's like been a major thing for a lot of bands, hasn't it? At least like it's still going strong. It is a pure heavy metal album, what I call pure metal, yeah, for metal, traditional
Okay.
metal. My favourite track on the album is Haunting. Which is yours today and why?
I'm glad you said Haunting, by the way.
There is a
And I'll
reason.
talk. Okay, good. We'll talk about that. But no, I think my favorite track is definitely "I Feel Fine," and the original working title of the track was "Visions," and no, the working title of the album was called "Visions," and then we scrapped it, and then we were going to title it "Monument," and then I was like, "What about I Feel Fine?" Because it's the track on the album. A lot of the songs talk about emotional heartbreak and a lot of things that are very real to us as human beings. But I just, it's a different. I Feel Fine. The song is my favorite track because it captures a lot of what my brother's guitar playing can do. It's very clean in like the verse riffs, super tight, super clean. But then it has like that rock and roll like flair in the chorus, kind of like 5150 Van Halen style of sound. And I think and it's a lot of double pedal. I like to just kind of blast on the double pedal and play. It's also a physically demanding track where there's a lot of changes dynamically in the track, and I think it kind of captures a really great piece. And it really, we placed it at the end of the track because of the outro and the kind of like the closing pieces to it. Like, I told you we'll be back. What did I tell you, man? Like, because we've been gone for so long, so it's a great expression, and I really like it. I think it's one of my favorite songs on the record.
Brilliant. Yeah, the reason for Haunting for me is because the song's like about a destructive relationship, isn't it? Like dealing with a narcissist. I've been there myself. Many millions of people have been as well, and it sort of like just tells it how it is. So I love it. It's good. It's a good song. So, what's the media response has been like then to any of the tracks you have released so far?
I'll be really frank. It's very minimal. Okay. And it's obviously it's because as a band we're on the let's say publicity side of things, we haven't done a whole lot on our own to kind of garner that response. We've also been professionally dormant for the last 5 years.
Yeah.
So we also don't expect everybody to roll out the red carpet and say like, hey guys, your album is amazing. Bow down to the new gods of metal. But the people that have spoken up and the people that have, personally reached out to me, or people that have written to the band, or people that have interviewed us, they say they love the tracks. So I think once the music finds its audience, whether it's on November 15th or 20 years from now, I think if anybody gives it the time of day to actually listen to it, I think they will find a quality release that can speak to them in some fashion.
Real. So, like you said, you've done tours all around the USA and into Canada. Is that something you're hopeful to do in 2025? I mean, like you said, you've got family and work commitments now. Is that something hopeful?
I think the initial inclination, if you would have asked me 6 months ago, I think we would have been like, hell yes, we already have things planned. But I think we're going to just let the organism of the band kind of speak for itself and try to create a demand for us to hit the road. We have toured all over North America and into Canada, and there are some glamorous sides to the business, but there's also a not so glamorous side where you're playing in El Paso, Texas, and there's only 2 people there, and it's the bartender and the promoter.
Some of those are the best gigs, man.
Yeah, because Yeah, because then when you go back to El Paso, then there's 20 people because they all told everybody that you need to go. It's a can't miss show.
Yeah.
So I think right now, if you were to ask me that, and I'll be really honest, so I'm going to scare away all the booking agents right now if they decide to watch. There aren't anything concrete and specific, but we also have said this in the past where we didn't have any plans, and then a festival calls us, and then we say yes to the festival, and then a month later another festival calls us, and then we say yes to that festival, and then now we have a show in Vancouver, Canada, and a show in Wisconsin, and they're a week away from each other. Now we have to book a tour,
Yeah.
so we're just going to keep it open. But if there is a good amount of sales and a good amount of response and a good amount of demand, then we're going to go for it. If not, time is on our hands. We have unreleased tracks sitting at our disposal. So, we have time.
Brilliant. And of course, like living on the border of Mexico, I mean, Mexico, South America has a huge metal pedigree. Have you ever thought about going down there as well?
Oh, certainly. We thought about it, fantasized it, dreamed about it, jerked off to it. We've thought about it all the time. But the couple of times where we had an opportunity to go to Mexico, the opportunity was presented itself, and then it kind of fell away. So we were unable to do those shows. But in terms of actually breaking through to Mexico, I think we will be well received. But just in terms of professional business side of things, like it was never our intentions to start there. At the time when we were really focused on touring and traveling, conquering North America was our biggest response and our biggest focus. Just from like a purely, financial point of view. And there are some logistical components to touring through Mexico that I don't think would have been easy for us. When we tour through Canada, we're treated like an actual respected artist playing mid-sized clubs. But, when we play into USA, we're still very much in the small bar, dive bar, mid-sized club circuit, where we still need to gather and garner respect and an audience. So that was where our focuses were. But, if let's say a Mexican label or South American label wants to put out a release for us down there and we start getting an audience and the demand is met, then we'll go,
Really?
But both of my parents are from Mexico, so I would love to be able to get down there and make that happen.
Okay. So go back to the album cover, that's fantastic as well. And I understand that's not AI, is it? That's actually art, yeah?
It's charcoal. So the artist, his name is Ryan Bartlett in Los Angeles. We trust him with all of our physical releases for artwork. Mm-hmm. So he actually took a sheet of paper and did charcoal production, and then he used color digitally to add onto the art. Right. So the actual piece is charcoal, but he digitally imposed color into the design electronically.
That's amazing. It really is. And the plans to have that on your wall with your gold.
Yeah, I think it's great. I think the fact that it plays off of our previous release, our self-titled release that we did, like with a double skull motif, I think it's great. I think it's great. He did a really phenomenal job at kind of keeping the idea together and making that part of our debut album release.
Okay. But I guess released on November the 15th. I mean, it's not that far away now. Are there plans to release any more singles before then? Videos or anything?
We have a single coming out this Friday. It's I Feel Fine. We're going to release that to the public this Friday. Mm-hmm. And it'll be out on all digital streaming platforms. We did have initial intentions to produce a couple of music videos. I think we wanted to have one out before the album came out, but I think in terms of just timing and financials, it's becoming more difficult to make that possibility. So if anything comes from a video perspective, it'll definitely come from after the album's release to try to reignite attention to the record, maybe a couple of months after it's been out.
Brilliant. And I mean, obviously, the internet helps a lot. I mean, I'm chatting to you from the north of England, and you're all the way over there. But how hard is it to get noticed with so many bands out there? I mean, it's constant, isn't it? There's so many. It must be harder than it was 5 years ago. Yeah.
I think, yes, I definitely think so. I mean, as an artist, you get a lot of respect when people see that you're doing your work. You'll probably will get little response and little respect when you're just releasing an album every 5 years and not really doing much with it. So in terms of just getting noticed and getting recognized, actually, if it does get recognized at our scale, I think the biggest gatekeepers in the music scene are gonna be the bands themselves. And if they're willing to give us the shout out, if they're willing to reshare the content, reshare the album, purchase the album, give us the shout out, then we'll welcome it. But you know, I would say a band starting in 2024, I guess from an objective standpoint, may have it more difficult than a band starting in 2017 like we did.
Yeah.
However, a band that is clever with production, a band that is clever with social media, and a band that is clever with video production, I think they can get really, really far with very little to no actual release. And there are several bands that I know that can do that, and they have done that. But we are unfortunately not that kind of band. We're more of a live band. Our shows are a lot better in person. And that's why I think we were able to generate such a big audience and a big respect and a big following in 2017 through 2019, because we were super active in taking our show on the road. So we're just going to take things slow and just kind of see where it takes us. It's a very different approach for us professionally than how we were doing things 7 years ago.
Yeah.
But it's just what makes sense for us right now at this time.
I'm sure that will return, man, because the album's stellar. I mean, what about on release day then? Are there plans to have like a release party and do like a live stream and things like that?
So the week before, we're doing an album listening party at a bar in San Diego.
Right.
And there's going to be it's going to be an Iron Maiden tribute band and a Dio tribute band. But in between the shows, they're going to be playing our music on the radio.
Okay, that sounds cool.
So we're doing somewhat of a celebration.
Brilliant. All right, and so a bit more fun questions now then. If there was a made-up heavy metal song about yourself, what would it be called?
A made-up heavy metal song about myself. It would be called The Lost Wanderer.
Cool. Okay. If you could do a cover of any song, which one would it be and why?
Oh, dude, easy. There's a band called Icon, and the song from their second album, Out for Blood. Out for Blood by the band Icon.
I was checking that out. If we were locked in a room for a week, which 2 albums would you take with you?
Operation Mindcrime by Queensryche and The Crimson Idol by Wasp.
Brilliant choice. Yeah, that's fantastic. Give us 4 words to describe your band.
4 words?
Yeah.
Clean, catchy, aggressive, and musical.
Excellent. Okay, so it's just like 5 questions there. Quick fire round. So the first one is, do you prefer vinyl or digital?
Vinyl for the experience.
Chili or beer?
Oh, beer.
Small, intimate gig or festival?
Intimate gig. I'll take it.
Are you guys saints or sinners?
Saints.
Okay. And the final one, Kamala Harris, Donald Trump, or Kermit the Frog?
I'm going to go with Kermit the Frog. Because at least he's likable. And
Absolutely.
he can dance really good.
And he sings on a rock, man. He's cool. He's his banjo, he rocks. All right, man. So I want to thank you so much for your time. Again, congratulate you on the album. Do you have any final words for your fans, our viewers, and listeners?
But for those that do make the efforts to track down our music and to invest their time with our music, I think you will not be disappointed. I think you will find 8 tracks with the new album. Ideally, one song that you'll really like and really connect with and really relate to. We all have issues and problems in our lives, and I think my brother did a really good job in putting that into a vessel of artistic quantification.
Yeah,
And if you if you spend the time to track us down, I think you won't be disappointed, because we can play just about everything, and you'll find that in our music. And if you decide to spend even more time with our previous releases, you'll see, and I think you'll be delighted to see how our sound is going to be changing, and how has it changed in the last let's say 6 years now. So thank you to anybody that will pick it up. Thank you to you, Seb, for your time. And I commend all those that are still burning the torch of heavy metal and carrying it within their soul.